Want more podcasts? Head over to gmg-podcast.com. Remember, I
I remember what I
first.
was gonna say, but
Okay, go
talk.
ahead. No, go ahead. Go ahead. Go ahead.
Okay, I've had a few people in the medical field, medical doctors, nurses, message me to try to like, thinking, oh, this boxer thinks he's so smart. Okay, every single time a someone in the medical field messaged me and we had a discussion, they ended up done. They couldn't say anything because they were proven wrong with everything,
Yeah.
right? And I had people telling me, oh, even about getting vaccinated. If you get vaccinated, you'll not get it. And I'm like, are you telling me right now that if you get vaccinated, that you won't get it? And they're like, yep. And I'm like, you should not be a doctor. You should not be a nurse.
Yeah.
That's exactly what I said. That you're a disgrace to the profession
Yeah.
because they were just going along with what they were told. Because when you're brought up in that field, everything that's in the textbook is what you believe. Whatever these people tell you is what you believe. So you
Well,
were, you know,
even if you were a doctor and you questioned it, they were coming after you,
yep,
right? They
yep,
were trying to silence you. And
yep,
like I have my family MD. Like one of the things me and my wife did is after we got COVID, I wanted to do the blood test.
yep,
Right? I was like, all right, and we did the blood test about 6, 7 months after we had COVID.
yep.
Right? And we got the blood test back, and our results were our antibodies were through the fucking roof. Right? My wife's more than me. Actually, I was
Yep,
jealous. Right? I was like, damn. But so I call my doctor calls me to tell me what the results were, right?
yep,
And so I'm like, well, doc, according to these levels, you know, this means my immunity is extremely high, right? He's like, yes, your immunity is extremely high. You should not have anything to worry about going forward. And I asked him this, and this is like, I'm not gonna put his name out there because then
yep,
they'll go after him too.
yeah,
I'm like, as a doctor, I'm like, at this point, do you see any benefit to a vaccination for me?
yep,
This is an honest question. And he's like, well, I'm not an immunologist, but
yep.
as your doctor, there's no benefit for you,
That see, you got a
right?
good guy.
Yeah, he's like, I cannot recommend that you do something
Yep,
when you are actually showing a very high level of immunity. There's no, and he said this to me, is there's no research that I know of that will show that you will gain any more benefit from
yep,
doing this. And I was like, thank you, doc, because you're the first one I've talked to. I've talked to plenty of doctors about it, asking their opinion, who just gave his general opinion as opposed to the the
scripted.
the scripted
Yeah,
response,
yep,
right? Well,
yep,
because the scripted response is, well, it doesn't matter if you've had COVID, doesn't matter if your antibodies test high, you should get vaccinated to protect others around you.
100%.
Right? That's the script. Whereas, what reality dictated was like, if my antibodies showed that I was super low, I,
Mhm,
I would have considered that action, right? Like anybody else. I've been like, oh, maybe I'm vulnerable to this thing. But, you know, I had a actual real medical doctor tell me there was, given my circumstances, my age, my already high levels of antibodies, that there's no benefit for me. And I'm not against it. Like, when people say like you're an anti-vax, I'm not against like I've
yep,
gotten every other fucking vaccine there was, right?
yep,
Like
yep,
that's when I was growing up, you went and got a vaccine for
yeah,
whatever the fuck, right? I'm not against this one or I'm not against any. I'm against the fact that you're trying to force it onto people.
100%,
And
100.
it may not be in their best interest.